Hello, I'm Cassie, and welcome to my allotment journey. Today, I'm not in my allotment, I'm in my back garden, and it's it's currently lovely, don't know if it's going to change, late morning in late September. In fact, it's a Sunday, and I did spend most of yesterday at one of my allotments, and I was going to do some filming there, but John, my allotment friend, came and chatted, and it kind of all got a bit disrupted. So rather than go back there today, which I haven't got on my plan, because I've got things to do here, I thought I would give you a little tour, as it were, of my back garden. And my very keen followers will remember that one of my early videos was me laying out a bed, a new flower bed in the garden, and I've got the opportunity to show you how that's come along. I've been meaning to do it for quite a while, but it was never quite the right time, and it still isn't quite the right time because, of course, not all of the flowers bloom at once. But yeah, it's a chance to look at it. Now, we're really lucky here, living in North Wales, in quite a rural, semi-rural area. That's how it was described in the estate agents when we bought it over 20 years ago. Semi-rural. And I think that's fair to say. We've got a field at the end of the garden. And you might say, well, why do you need an allotment when you've got quite a nice sized garden? And that's a really good question. And when I first really started gardening, which, like many people, was in lockdown, I did try to get things going in this garden. There was always a little vegetable plot, which I revived, and then my husband built me some trugs. Is that the right word? Troughs, I think. The kind of big wooden ones. I'll show them in a bit. And I had some success, but nothing really grew very well. And I think one of the reasons for that is quite an enclosed north-facing garden, so it doesn't get the best of the sun. That's probably it. Sounds like an excuse. Another thing was that we don't have good soil here. There used to be a brickworks in the field that's now a field, and I kind of think the soil doesn't do too well. And thirdly, we had a massive walnut tree in the middle of our garden until November last year in the storms, and that came down. It'd been here for probably about 100 years. So that was a great loss. But the thing about walnuts is that they kind of emit a sort of toxin, juglone, and nothing ever grows very big in this garden or terribly well. And fourthly, my family weren't too keen on the idea of me converting the whole lawn into a vegetable garden. I think it will be an improvement, actually, the way things are, because what I'm going to be showing you today is by no means an Instagram perfect garden. I haven't gone round and tidied it up. It is untidy. There is stuff everywhere. But in and amongst that stuff, there are some little gems, and I'd like to share them with you. So let's see. So this is actually the view from where I'm sitting. And we live in a semi-detached house. At the bottom there, you can see a little red brick structure, and that is our shed. That is not well used at one end. At the other end, my husband's got his kind of tool shed and things where he does man stuff. The grey structure, metal structure, to the right of the centre is our bunny pen. It's got some outdoor chairs in at the moment for shelter, and it hasn't got bunnies in. We keep our bunnies inside, they live inside, except when it's a nice day and they come out and they play in the bunny pen and have some grass. In the middle, where you see that splash of colour, that's the flower bed that I planted or created in the spring. And I am sat here at our garden bench. But let's take a little look around. our washing line. I've carefully managed to do this before I put the washing on the line, so at least I get some artistic credit for that. So here we have my lovely quince tree. Just going to try and show you some of the fruits there. Little one there. I've had quite a few fruits off this already, and I've made some quince jam and some quince jelly. But there are some more fruits on there today, and I'm going to make some quince vodka, which I'm very excited about. So that is a great success, and that is planted. We removed one of the slabs from our patio and planted that in there, some bindweed, which I need to get rid of. We planted that in there, and it's done quite well. So we're really pleased about that. What I haven't done quite so well is we bought patio fruit trees, 6 of them, I think, in one of those bargain deals that you get. And whilst most of them are still alive, just about, the only fruit we've had from them is this one here. Look at those beautiful apples. 2 of them, and that's after 6 years we've had 2 apples on 1 tree. But that's beautiful. So I don't think they're very happy here, and I think I am going to possibly put them into one of the allotments. We'll have a chat about that as a family. And then also on the patio, we've got some lovely, this year anyway, I've had some success with plants that, flowering plants. And this is some nemesia that a friend of mine who works at Garden Centre, the lovely Brongorch Garden Centre in North East and West Wales, recommended to me, and it was such a great recommendation because it has been flowering. I think I got it in April, and here we are at the end of September, and it's been flowering all that time. So that is amazing. And here I've got some Syrinth honeywort, along with some wild clary sage, 2 different purpley flowering things. And here I've got some snapdragons. So I grew from, did I grow from seed? Can't remember actually. I think I did. I'm not entirely sure. I grew so many different things. A little bit of borage there. And then I've got these little raised strawberry pots. That, you know, those towering things. I only did them in sets of 4, and I'm not convinced by them. The water doesn't really get successfully down to the lower layers, even outside. So they look okay. We've even got some September strawberries. I don't think they're going to come to much though. They don't look terribly appetizing today. So yeah, a bit of a mishmash, some stingers there, a lovely big bush of mint. Then I've got a little fig tree. Now that is growing in a tub, along with some sweet nettles. It's growing in a tub, and it did have quite a few quinces. Didn't have quinces on that. Would have been very strange on a fig tree. Had some figs on it. I only got to eat one of them. I'm not sure whether that needs moving out of the tub now. And similarly, I've got a nice little medlar tree, which does look, that's not a tree, obviously, that's a little medlar tree, which has never had fruits on before. It's in a big tub, one of those half barrel things. And this year, for the first time, we have got some tiny little medlars on it. I don't think they're going to be enough to do very much with at all, but you have to wait until they go kind of past it. Bletted, I think is the term, to make jelly with. It's not quite enough for that, but I can mix it with something else. And then here we've got a lovely flower bed, and this has been a source of joy to me, and some competitive success, it would be fair to say, this summer. So this is the first time I've actually dabbled in dahlias. It won't be the last. I am so excited about growing dahlias now. So I'm going to, I think I might have mentioned, convert part of the top plot, the plastic plot I've got at the town allotments, into a dahlia area. But look at this. Actually, that is a dahlia nestling. I think it's a Sarah Raven one. I'm sorry I don't know the name, because it is my absolute favourite dahlia. Look at those colour tones. Absolutely beautiful. And it's nestling And a small hydrangea plant, which has kept its flowers, again, since about April, May time. Not grown any more. Oh, no, it looks like a little flower bud under there. But yeah, that's in a pot. And then I have had a lot of flowers off this. And providing the frost doesn't get to it. Look at this, it's just stunning. Absolutely love it. I'll have to look at what it's called. But there are more buds. So that has been a great success. And in and amongst the dahlias that I specifically planted, I popped in some cosmos. And that's come up with some really lovely big plants. And it's only this one so far, this white one, that has flowered. But isn't that lovely? And then, look, I'm going to tell you, I am terrible with plant names and I have no idea what these are called. I gave them all as I was planting them. I'll have to go back and look. So let's just enjoy them for the colours. But look at these lovely dahlias as well. This beautiful lilac-y colour. Isn't that lovely? And that's had so many blooms on it. I keep deadheading it, actually. I need to deadhead that one by. You know, you'll be, oh, I don't like it. It's still beautiful. I'll even leave it for a day. Right, so we've got Dahlias Cosmos. Actually, that there, although you couldn't really tell, is a late straw flower, and they've come up as well. So I put straw flowers in and amongst. There's some more. Sorry if this is a bit sick making. There's some more straw flowers there. We've had a very cold. I don't know whether there was actually a frost, but it's very cold and damp in the night, in the early morning. So they're looking all a bit soggy at the moment. And then in my wonderful flower bed, as if I didn't have enough at the allotment, I've got some tomatoes. And they, self-seeded, must have been left in the homemade compost that I put on this. Now, sitting in the middle of the bed, this new bed that I made, is another tub of sticky nettles now. It's actually a lovely rose, which I can't show you. See, this is the thing. I wanted to have everything to be in bloom to be able to show you. But this is a beautiful, let's see if we can get focused, purple rose, dark purple rose, absolutely gorgeous. We've had some flowers from that, but it's just in between buds at the moment. And then this, another dahlia. Look at that. Look at the size of that. Those flowers, aren't they absolutely stunning? Beautiful. And then there's another. I must have put two close together, I think. I didn't really think I put them that close together. Maybe I tucked a late one in. Another dahlia there. Okay. And then we've got some more huge cosmos plants still to come into bloom, like the ones at my allotment are still to come into bloom. I don't know whether they are ever going to make it, whether it's going to get too cold for them and they won't flower. But this here is one of my late ones of this pom-pom dahlia. Look at the colours on that. And now I think I do know this one's name. I think it's called Bramling and it's a pom-pom. And it's won me quite a few prizes. And I'm not surprised because it's absolutely beautiful. So those are lovely. Again, deadheading there. Now that's definitely a deadhead. I couldn't live with taking that off. And that one. And that one. You see, you'll see I've already cut quite a lot of these and still had lots more. So they just give and give dahlias. And then where are we? Yes, we're getting to a rather bedraggled end of the I didn't even know these were here. And ripe tomatoes, ripe unplanted tomatoes. Just shows how much attention I've been paying. And I'll taste one of these. Let's see what it's like. Yeah, nice. A little squishy one there. Very nice. Oh, that's a surprise. Put them in my pocket for now. Oh, another dahlia. And small ripe tomatoes hiding behind her. Look at that. Oh, thank you, bee. Bit part actor. Entered just at the right time. But so look, we might get some cosmos flowers there if we're lucky. And then this lovely, wow, the bedraggled rose. Look at that. That's hot chocolate, and I absolutely love these. Really beautiful. Hot socks hanging on the line. And look, these are two of my compost bins. And look at that. All the compost dug out. Rats. Now, I hesitate to take you in here because this is such a mess. This is one of my greenhouses. This is my kind of secondary greenhouse. You will see it's a very cobbled together greenhouse because the frame actually stood where my main greenhouse is at the moment. Oh, let's have a to open. Excuse my French. This is all very, very bedraggled and undercared for, but it's kind of, I haven't finished with it really. I'm just letting some of the tomatoes, the very few tomatoes, because it just has not been at all productive, ripen, and then I'm going to call it a day. I probably will. There's some peppers here. Yeah. Oh, I probably ought to harvest some of these peppers. I keep forgetting that I've got peppers in here. Look at those. It's nice. And that's a nice pepper. I'll pick that. And that one. And there's just filming the actual activity happening. A bit unusual for me. Yeah, so there's more peppers. I probably ought to, in fact, I can already, because there's a bucket here, water. That plant is certainly worth watering. Let's just tip some of that into there. Yeah. And this, oh my gosh. Any of you been looking at seed snails? I've got 2 seed snails here. One of parsley, which I should have planted out months ago, and one of marigolds. Poor marigolds, but they bloomed in the seed snails, which are coils of, well, in this case, it's sort of insulated, the bubbly stuff. Well, that's called. But anyway, I left them in. I really meant to plant them out, but look, I should get some good marigold seeds off them, and there's still some flowers. Bless it. It thrived even in the seed cells. So yeah, this is a rather sorry state. Nothing to be bragging about here. I did have quite a few tomatoes, to be fair. Oh my gosh, this is quite amazing. That brambling dahlia I mentioned. When I knocked off a stem of this. Now this must be 2 months ago. I knocked off a stem of this. And I just dumped it into this water because I was so upset that I knocked it off because it had buds in it. But look, the bud from 2 months ago has opened to form that beautiful flower. Isn't nature amazing? So while I struggle to shut this greenhouse door, let's just look at our beautiful horse chestnut tree. No, you can edit this bit. Get the door shut. There we go. Right. Yeah, so over here we have the main compost bays and wood pile. This is some of the remains of our walnut tree. That's the trunk. Now the exciting thing about the trunk, and it's the weeds, is that look, new life is springing. But yes, that did come down with a bit of a bang. Most of the wood is at a sawmill that belongs to a friend of mine, waiting to be seasoned and made into planks and eventually into a table. But in the meantime, we are left with this beautiful conker tree, which is a crop that you can't really do very much with, other than dry them and make laundry things with them, which I have done. I'm not convinced about its efficacy, but maybe I ought to give it another go. And then this is our area of shame. I probably shouldn't show too much of this. It really needs a bit of what I've got here. Absolutely just stuff. Collapsed. Remains of the collapsed greenhouse from over a year ago. The trugs with the bottoms out of them and so on. So let's move swiftly on. to my newer greenhouse. Oh, first of all, pears. Beautiful pear tree. Very old pear tree that used to just grow on one branch till we gave it a really good chopping down. The trouble is we can't actually, chopping back rather, not chopping down, can't actually reach very easily those pears up there, but we have had some, so that's lovely. And then here, let's go into my other greenhouse, which, Virginia creeper, I think, on my neighbour's fence. So, yes, this is another shameful muddle, but still rather nice in a way. So this is my greenhouse. Now, I haven't been overwhelmed with the productivity of my greenhouse, and I think in the summer, the trees around it have sheltered it so much, and it just got hot without getting much sunshine. And anyway, I don't know why, but maybe I didn't water things enough, but it's not done brilliantly. I mean, the plants kind of grew. They're quite spindly. They didn't really have many fruits. Now, there's a couple of tomatoes there which I've been waiting to ripen, but then look, it's got a split in it. I see very, very few tomatoes, but it doesn't matter because I've got so many hundreds at the allotment. It would have been nice to have some of these different varieties. What has surprisingly done well are peppers. Look at that. And not necessarily, although I've already picked some, the peppers that have grown in this, where I've put them into decent sized pots, but some on here which have grown in very pathetic sized pots, which are kind of my leftover pepper plants. But look, we've got some Bishop's Crown peppers there. Actually, there's another level of pepper there. I've got some more peppers here. A load of flowers still on the pepper plant there. Yeah, some more peppers here. So not nearly as well as I've seen peppers growing outside, but who knows? Who knew that it would be better to grow peppers outside this year? Oh well, done better than in the past anyway. Now what I've got here are some onion seeds. Well, obviously they've now sprouted and they're growing now. They're supposed to sit here over winter. I can't know how big they're going to get over winter. So that's my Shenshire onion seeds. Skipping over that very sorry tray. I'm ever hopeful, and that's my overwinter salads that have sprung nicely from some seeds. A helicopter going overhead, in case you're wondering what that noise is, if indeed you can hear a noise. And then this is another one of my comedy seed stories. So I've sowed these, actually I'm not even sure what form of brassica they are now, it's so long ago. And I thought first I'd be those micro salads. But they're growing quite big, and I'm now wondering, I think I'm going to try planting them out and see if they overwinter. It's worth a try anyway. That's a rather sad looking aubergine plant. Now I've had a few little mini aubergines. I picked a couple earlier, which was a mistake before I thought, oh, let's do some filming. But yeah, just to show you an example, this is not a good one because it's split. But I've had quite a few of these crystal diamond aubergines and a few long purple ones, but nothing much. And I've had one melon. It was very small, very tasty, and very small. And then that is a basil, which has done quite well. That's now gone to flower. So there we go. So, little tour of what's going on in my garden. My very messy garden. But then I am quite a messy person. Yeah, I think that'll do for now. Hope you enjoyed it. See you later.